The binder clip snapped shut with a sound that echoed like a gavel in the silent kitchen. My mother flinched at the noise, her eyes red and puffy from 3 days of nonstop crying. Across the granite island, my sister, Elena, sat wrapped in a heavy wool blanket, despite the thermostat being set to 75 degrees. She trembled slightly, bringing a trembling hand to adjust the knit cap pulled low over her forehead. It was a performance. I knew it was a performance. But my parents were eating it up with spoons, scraping the bowl clean of every last drop of pity. The lawyer, a family friend named Mr. Henderson, looked at me over the rim of his glasses. He tapped the document in front of me with a manicured finger. This was the release form. The piece of paper that would waive my rights to my half of Grandma's estate. $300,000. Life-changing money. Money that was supposed to be my down payment on a house. Money that was supposed to secure my future. Now, they wanted me to sign it all over to Elena. To save her life. Or at least, that is what they believed. We don't have time to debate this anymore, my father said, his voice rough and grating. He was pacing by the fridge, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. He looked 10 years older than he had last week. The stress was killing him, and Elena was the one holding the knife. The treatment center in Mexico needs the deposit by Friday. You know the insurance won't cover alternative oncology. This is her only chance. I looked down at the papers. The ink seemed to blur under the harsh kitchen lights. I looked at Elena. She refused to make eye contact with me. She just stared at the wood grain of the table, taking shallow, wheezing breaths. She looked sick. She used pale makeup to hollow out her cheeks. She had shaved her head yesterday. It was convincing. If I didn't know about the text messages, if I didn't know about the bank statements I found in her trash, I might have believed her too. But I knew. I want to see the biopsy results again, I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline pumping through my veins. The room went dead silent. My mother let out a choked sob, covering her mouth with her hand as if I had just slapped her. Mr. Henderson shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Elena stopped trembling for a split second before resuming her act with more intensity. Are you serious? My father spat the words out, stopping his pacing to glare at me. Your sister is dying. She has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And you are acting like an auditor? You want paperwork? Look at her. Look at your sister. I am looking at her, I said, not looking away from Elena. And I am remembering that 6 months ago, she looked me in the eye and swore she wasn't sleeping with her yoga instructor. She swore on her daughter's life. She cried then too. She trembled just like this. Stop it, my mother screamed, slamming her hand on the counter. This is not the same. That was a mistake. This is life or death. How can you be so cruel? Grandma loved her. Grandma would have wanted her to live. Grandma hated liars. I shot back. I grabbed the folder Mr. Henderson had brought. I flipped past the waiver and found the photocopy of the diagnosis letter she had provided. It was from a clinic in Cherry Creek. Holistic Wellness and Oncology. I had Googled the doctor's name last night. Dr. Eris Thorne. He was a chiropractor. He wasn't even an oncologist. But when I tried to tell my parents that this morning, they said I was being paranoid. They said I was just bitter because Elena was the favorite. I called Dr. Thorne's office. I lied. I hadn't called yet because it was Sunday, but I wanted to see her reaction. I left a message asking for confirmation of the diagnosis code. Strange thing is, the receptionist said they don't treat cancer patients. They do vitamin drips and back adjustments. Elena's head snapped up. For the first time in an hour, she looked at me. Her eyes weren't sad. They were furious. There was no fear of death in those eyes. Only the fear of being caught. You call my doctor? She whispered, her voice raspy. You are trying to stress me out? The doctor said stress feeds the tumors. You are literally killing me right now. The doctor is a chiropractor, Elena, I said, leaning forward. Why do you need $300,000 for vitamin drips? Or is it not for the doctor? Is it for the bookie? My father lunged toward the table. He didn't hit me, but he grabbed the papers and yanked them away from me. Get out, he growled. If you aren't going to sign, get out of my house. I will sell the cars. I will mortgage this house. I will get the money. But you? You are dead to us. You are letting your sister die for money. Dad, please, I said, standing up. I felt sick to my stomach. Not because I was wrong, but because they were so blind. She gambled away her marriage settlement. Mark told me. She lost 50 grand last month alone. Check her phone. Just ask to see her bank app. If I'm wrong, I will sign everything right now. I will give her my car. I will give her everything. Just look at her phone. Elena recoiled, clutching her purse to her chest. He is harassing me. Make him leave. I can't breathe. She started hyperventilating. It was a masterclass in manipulation. She gasped for air, clawing at her throat. My mother rushed to her side, rubbing her back. Get out. Mom screamed at me, her face twisted in hate. Get out before I call the police. You are a monster. I looked at Mr. Henderson. The lawyer looked down at his briefcase, refusing to get involved. He knew. I could see it in his body language. He knew something was fishy, but he was paid by my parents, not me. He wasn't going to stop the train wreck. He was just there to document the crash. I grabbed my car keys from the counter. Fine, I said. I'm leaving. But when you lose the house, and when you find out she doesn't have cancer, don't call me. Don't you dare come crying to me. I walked out the back door. The cool autumn air hit my face, but it didn't cool down the rage burning under my skin. I marched to my car, my hands shaking so badly I dropped my keys in the grass. As I bent down to pick them up, I heard the back door open again. It was Mark, Elena's ex-husband. He had been waiting in the driveway. He wasn't invited inside. My parents blamed him for the divorce, even though Elena was the one who cheated. They said he didn't fight for her. They said he drove her to the yoga instructor because he worked too much. The delusion ran deep in my family. Did you sign? Mark asked, leaning against the hood of his truck. He looked tired. He had been dealing with Elena's lies for 10 years. He was the only one who believed me. No, I said, unlocking my door. But they kicked me out. Dad is going to mortgage the house. They are going to give her everything, Mark. She is going to bleed them dry. Mark spat on the ground. She called me last night, he said quietly. She said if I didn't loan her $5,000, she would tell the kids I hit her. She is desperate. The sharks are circling. That yoga instructor? Kai. He isn't just a yogi. He runs high-stakes poker games in the basement of that studio. That is how they met. That is how she got hooked. My stomach dropped. I knew about the casinos. I didn't know about the private games. Those people didn't send collection agencies. They sent guys with baseball bats. That explained the urgency. That explained why she needed the cash by Friday. It wasn't for a clinic in Mexico. It was a deadline. Does Kai know she is faking cancer? I asked. No. Mark laughed, a bitter, humorless sound. He wrote the script. He is the one who printed that fake diagnosis. I saw his car driving away from your parents' house before you got here. He is coaching her. They are in this together. She gets the inheritance, pays off the debt, and they run off into the sunset with whatever is left. I gripped the steering wheel of my car, knuckles white. We have to prove it, I said. If Dad signs those loan papers tomorrow, it's over. The money will be gone. I can't get close to her, Mark said. She has a restraining order. She told the judge I was stalking her. It's another lie, but it stuck. It's up to you. I need proof, I said. Hard proof. Not just suspicions. I need to catch her. Mark reached into his truck through the open window. He pulled out a small, black device. It looked like a flash drive. I put a tracker on her car when I picked up the kids last week. I shouldn't have. It's illegal. But I knew she was up to something. She is driving to a warehouse district downtown every night at 2 a.m. That is where the games are. If she has stage 4 cancer, she shouldn't be pulling all-nighters at an underground casino. I took the tracker receiver. You want me to go there? I want you to get pictures, Mark said. Get a picture of her holding cards. Get a picture of her drinking. Get a picture of her without that stupid beanie. Show that to your parents, and the spell breaks. I looked at the house. I could see my mother through the kitchen window. She was hugging Elena. Elena was smirking over Mom's shoulder. She had won. She thought she had won. I'm going tonight, I said. Be careful, Mark warned. Kai is dangerous. He has lost a lot of money lately too. Desperate people do crazy things. I got in my car and reversed out of the driveway. I didn't go home. I drove to the end of the street and parked where I could see the house. I waited. I watched the lights go out one by one. I watched my dad's car leave, probably going to the bank or to meet a lender. Hours passed. My phone buzzed with angry texts from my aunts and uncles. Mom must have called everyone. How could you do this to your sister? You are disgusting. Don't bother coming to Thanksgiving. I ignored them all. I sat in the dark, watching the house. Around midnight, the garage door opened. Elena's SUV backed out slowly. She didn't turn on her headlights until she was down the street. She was sneaking out. I started my engine and followed her from a distance. She drove fast. Aggressive. For someone who claimed to be too weak to walk to the bathroom, she was weaving through traffic like a NASCAR driver. She headed south, toward the industrial district. Just like Mark said, she pulled into a fenced lot behind an old textile factory. There were luxury cars parked next to dumpsters. Porsches, Mercedes, and Kai's Range Rover. I recognized the license plate. Namaste. The irony was sickening. I parked my car a block away and walked through the shadows. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I wasn't a spy. I was an accountant. I shouldn't be creeping around warehouses in the middle of the night. But the image of my dad's face, the fear, the desperation, pushed me forward. He was going to ruin his life for a lie. I couldn't let that happen. I found a side door that was propped open with a cinder block. Heavy bass music thumped from inside. The smell of cigar smoke wafted out. I slipped inside. hiding behind a stack of crates. The room was huge. It was set up like a high-end lounge. Velvet ropes, waitresses in lingerie, and in the center, 5 poker tables. And there she was, Elena. She was sitting at the high roller table. The beanie was gone. Her hair was not shaved. It was tied back in a sleek ponytail. She was wearing a wig at the house, a bald cap and a wig. She was laughing, holding a whiskey glass in one hand and a stack of chips in the other. She looked radiant. She looked alive. She looked evil. Standing behind her, massaging her shoulders, was Kai, the yoga instructor. He whispered something in her ear, and she threw her head back and laughed again. She kissed him. A full, passionate kiss. I pulled out my phone. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. I switched to camera mode. I zoomed in. I snapped a photo. Then another. Then a video. All in, I heard Elena say. Her voice wasn't raspy. It was clear and loud. Daddy is signing the papers tomorrow. I'm good for it. I felt the bile rise in my throat. Daddy. She called him Daddy while she was stealing his retirement. I stepped out from behind the crates to get a better angle. I needed to get Kai in the frame with the chips. I took one step too far. My foot hit an empty beer bottle on the floor. Clink. Roll. Smash. The sound cut through the room. The music seemed to stop. Every head turned toward the shadows. Elena turned. Her eyes locked with mine across the smoky room. The color drained from her face faster than it ever had during her fake medical episodes. She dropped her glass. It shattered on the concrete. Up. She mouthed. Security. Kai yelled, pointing at me. Grab him. 2 massive bouncers by the door started sprinting toward me. I didn't think. I ran. I turned around and bolted for the door I came in. I burst into the alleyway, my shoes slapping against the wet pavement. I could hear heavy footsteps behind me. Get the phone. I heard Kai scream from the doorway. He has pictures. Don't let him leave. I sprinted toward my car. I fumbled with the keys. The bouncers were closing the gap. One of them was fast. He was only 10 feet behind me. I hit the unlock button. I threw myself into the driver's seat and slammed the lock button just as a fist hammered against the window. The glass shuttered but didn't break. The bouncer yanked on the handle. Locked. I jammed the key into the ignition and gunned the engine. I peeled out of the parking spot, tires screeching. I looked in the rearview mirror. Kai was standing in the alley now. He was holding a gun. I ducked. Pop. Pop. 2 sounds like firecrackers. My rear windshield shattered. Glass sprayed over the back seat. I floored it. I didn't look back. I ran 2 red lights. I drove until I was on the highway, doing 90 miles an hour. I checked my phone. The video was there. The photos were there. I had them. But I couldn't go to my parents' house. Kai knew my car. He knew where they lived. If I went there now, I would be leading danger right to their doorstep. And my parents wouldn't listen anyway. They would probably think I photoshopped the pictures. Elena was good. She would probably call them before I arrived and say I was stalking her. I needed authorities. I needed the police. I dialed 911. 911. What is your emergency? My sister is faking cancer to steal an inheritance, and her boyfriend just shot at me outside an illegal casino. I said, breathless. Sir, can you repeat that? I repeated it. I told them everything. I told them about the fraud, the gambling, the gunshots. They told me to go to the nearest precinct. I drove to the station. I gave my statement. I showed them the photos. They were interested in the casino. They were interested in the gun. But when I mentioned the inheritance fraud, the officer just shrugged. That is a civil matter, son. Unless she forged a doctor's signature, it's just a family dispute. She did. I yelled. She forged Dr. Thorne's records. We will look into it, the officer said. That translate to, go home. They sent patrol cars to the warehouse, but by the time they got there, it was empty. Cleared out. Kai was pros. They knew how to scrub a place in 10 minutes. The police found nothing. No chips. No tables. Just an empty warehouse. So it was my word against theirs. Again. Except I had the photos. I sat in my car outside the police station. It was 4 a.m. The sun would be up in 2 hours. My dad was going to the bank as soon as it opened. I sent the photos to my dad. No reply. I sent the video to my mom. No reply. I called them. Voicemail. They had blocked me. She probably told them I was sending fake pictures. I had to stop him physically. I had to get to the bank. I drove to the branch where my parents banked. I parked in the lot and waited. At 8:30 a.m., my dad's sedan pulled in. Elena was with him. She was wearing the beanie again. She was using a walker. A walker. She was dancing 4 hours ago. I jumped out of my car. Dad, I screamed, running toward them. Elena saw me. She grabbed Dad's arm and pointed. She started crying instantly. He is here. He is trying to stop the treatment. Dad, don't let him near me. My dad turned, his face red with fury. Stay back. He yelled at me. I have a restraining order. The judge granted it an hour ago. Stay away from us. Dad, Look at your email. I begged, stopping 10 feet away. Look at the photos. She was at a casino last night. She is not sick. Liar. Elena shrieked. She coughed, doubling over. I was in bed all night. Mom was with me. I froze. Mom was with her. If Mom was with her, how did she sneak out? Unless Mom was in on it. The thought hit me like a freight train. No. Mom couldn't be. Mom loved us. Mom was just gullible. Maybe Elena drugged her. Maybe Elena put a dummy in the bed. Dad, please, I said, my voice breaking. Just look at the picture. Just one look. If I am lying, I will sign the waiver. I will walk away forever. Just look. My dad hesitated. He looked at me, his son. He saw the tears in my eyes. He saw the shattered glass in my back seat. Why is your car window broken? He asked. Because her boyfriend shot at me. I yelled. Kai? The guy who is supposed to be her yoga teacher. Kai is a healer, Elena whimpered. Why do you hate him? Dad? I said softly. Just look. My dad reached into his pocket. He pulled out his phone. No. Elena lunged for the phone. She forgot the walker. She moved fast. Too fast for a dying woman. My dad saw it. He saw the reflex. He saw the speed. He pulled the phone away just in time. He looked at her. He looked at the walker lying on the ground where she had dropped it. He looked back at her, standing on her own 2 feet, reaching for the phone with the grip of an athlete. The silence in the parking lot was deafening. You dropped your walker, Dad said. His voice was barely a whisper. Elena froze. She realized her mistake. Slowly, she started to sink to the ground, trying to fake a collapse. Adrenaline. She stuttered. Dad ignored her. He unlocked his phone. He opened his messages. He saw the photo. The photo of his dying daughter holding a whiskey glass and smoking a cigar. He saw the video of her kissing Kai. He heard her voice in the video. Daddy is signing the papers tomorrow. I'm good for it. My dad's hand started to shake. He dropped the phone. It clattered on the asphalt. He looked at Elena. The look on his face wasn't anger. It was pure, unadulterated heartbreak. It was the look of a man who realized everything he believed was a lie. You called me daddy, he whispered. In the video, you mocked me. It's a deep fake. Elena screamed, scrambling backwards on the ground. He used AI. It's not real. Dad, look at me. I have cancer. Get up, Dad said. His voice was cold. Dead. I can't. I'm weak. Get up. Dad roared. It was a sound I had never heard come out of him. A primal roar of betrayal. Get in the car. Are we going to the bank? She asked, hope flickering in her eyes. No, Dad said. We are going to the police station. And then we are going to a real doctor. And if you don't have cancer, Elena, God help me, if you don't have cancer. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Elena looked at me. Her mask fell completely. Her lip curled into a snarl. You ruined everything, she hissed at me. You jealous little prick. You never wanted me to be happy. I wanted you to be alive, I said. But you were already dead to me. Dad dragged her into the car. He didn't help her gently. He shoved her into the back seat. He looked at me one last time before getting in. Come with us, he said. No, I said. I'm going home. I'm done. I watched them drive away. I should have felt relieved. I should have felt victory. But I just felt empty. My sister was a sociopath. My parents were broken. My car was shot up. And the inheritance? It was safe, but at what cost? I drove home. I sat on my couch staring at the wall. 2 hours later, my phone rang. It was Mom. I answered. Is it true? She whispered. Yes, Mom. She wept. For 10 minutes, she just wept. She confessed. Mom choked out. At the station, when they mentioned jail time for fraud, she cracked. She blamed Kai. She blamed Mark. She blamed us for pressuring her to be perfect. She blamed everyone but herself. Where is she? They arrested her, Mom said. Attempted fraud. And because of the gunshots. They picked up Kai too. They found the gun in his apartment. Good. Opie, Mom said, her voice trembling. We are so sorry. We didn't know. We just loved her. I know, Mom. Dad wants to know if you will come over tonight. We can't be alone in this house. Her room. All the medical equipment we rented. We need to get it out. We can't look at it. I closed my eyes. Part of me wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to let them clean up their own mess. They had kicked me out. They had blocked me. They had chosen her. But they were my parents. And they were victims too. Just like Mark. Just like Grandma's memory. I'll be there in an hour, I said. I hung up. I walked to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. I looked in the mirror. I looked tired. I went to my bedroom closet. I pulled out a box. Inside was a picture of me and Elena when we were kids. We were building a sandcastle. She was smiling. A real smile. Not a shark's grin. I took the photo and shredded it. Then I grabbed my car keys. When I got to my parents' house, the driveway was empty. Dad's car wasn't back yet. I used my key to get in. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Mom, I called out. No answer. I walked into the kitchen. The papers were still on the table. The coffee cups were still there. I walked into the living room. Mom. I saw her. She was sitting in the armchair facing the window. She wasn't moving. Mom. I ran to her. She was breathing. She was asleep? No. Passed out. An empty bottle of pills sat on the side table. Sleeping pills. I shook her. Mom. Wake up. She groaned. Her eyes fluttered open. They were hazy. I couldn't. She slurred. I couldn't handle the shame. Everyone knows. The neighbors. The church. Everyone knows I raised a monster. Call 911. I screamed at the empty room, fumbling for my phone again. Don't. Mom whispered, grabbing my wrist weakly. Just stay? Stay with me. No. I dialed 911 for the second time that day. My mother overdosed. Send an ambulance now. While I waited for the sirens, I held her hand. I looked around the living room. Pictures of Elena were everywhere. Elena at graduation. Elena at her wedding. Elena holding her daughter. My sister didn't just ruin her marriage. She didn't just try to steal money. She destroyed this family. She took a sledgehammer to the foundation and laughed while it crumbled. The ambulance arrived. They took Mom. I followed in my car. Dad met us at the hospital. He looked like a ghost. He had just put his daughter in jail, and now his wife was in the ICU. We sat in the waiting room in silence. The same waiting room where we thought we would be sitting for Elena's chemo. The irony was suffocating. She is going to be okay, the doctor said an hour later. We pumped her stomach. She took a lot, but you got her here in time. Dad put his head in his hands and sobbed. I sat there, staring at the generic art on the wall. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. You think you won? Kaya's friends. Watch your back. I stared at the screen. A threat? From inside jail? Or was someone else involved? I showed the phone to Dad. He read it. He wiped his eyes and stood up. The sadness was gone, replaced by a cold, hard resolve. Let them come, Dad said. I have nothing left to lose. I will kill them myself. I looked at my father. The gentle accountant who loved gardening was gone. Elena had killed him too. We are sitting here now. Mom is awake, but refuses to speak. Dad is cleaning his shotgun at the kitchen table. Elena is in a cell, and I am writing this. The inheritance money is still in the trust, but it feels cursed now. Blood money. So here's my question to you. My aunt called me. She said Elena is calling from jail, begging for bail money. She says she is pregnant. She says the stress caused the cancer symptoms, but now she knows it's a baby. Another lie? Probably. But what if it isn't? My aunt says we should bail her out just in case. She says we can't let a baby be born in jail. Dad says let her rot. Mom is too medicated to decide. I have the power to release the funds for bail. It would come out of my share. Do I let my sister rot in a cell with potentially my niece or nephew inside her? Or do I risk letting the monster out one more time? Is it ever okay to abandon family completely, even when they are poison? I am staring at the checkbook. Tell me what to do.